G'day humans. So day 11 wrap. So as mentioned, we tried to take it a lot easier on day 11. We had the kind of kids really struggled, in particular the youngest with the monkey, like just the monkey forest and the heat and everything like that. So we had a pretty slow start to the day, too slow as it turned out. It's just one of the things we're picking up on a lot is just how long it's taking to get out of the house. Like, we're doing it all wrong. Like really we need to be waking up really early, having breakfast, like first thing, getting out, doing stuff, coming back in the heat of the day and being in the aircon in the pool or whatever it happens to be, and then going back out in the afternoon. And we tried to do that yesterday, but in the end, like we didn't finish breakfast till like 9:30 or something, and it took like an hour and a half or something to get creamed up and out of the house. It was just ridiculous. So then all we wanted to do was just go and do this. There was a walk that you could do. So the idea was kids want to get some souvenirs. It's our last kind of couple of days here in Indo. And so we thought, well, we'll do this. There's this kind of free walk you can do that's supposed to be really spectacular. It wasn't. Through the rice paddies on a ridge. They're called the Callahan or something. It's definitely not how you pronounce it, but trek. And then, so there's a 2 kilometre walk along the ridge line, and then at the end we got the impression we could just kind of walk down to the central palace, which is another place we wanted to see the palace, have a look for some souvenirs, and then come back and like kind of be out in the sun for maybe 2.5 hours or so. Come back, relax for 3 hours, and then go back out to see a live dance. Because I really wanted to show the kids kind of something cultural, like a traditional dance. Anyway, so we started late, like an hour later than we wanted to, than we tried to, and then we got out there, it was pumping hot, like it was only probably about 32 degrees or something, but the humidity was 120%. And the walk was super unspectacular, like it was overgrown, you couldn't see anything at all. So it was just it wasn't a complete bust, it was just, it was like, why are we doing this? So, not a single rice paddy, and you can't see anything through the weeds. Don't know what they were going on about.
What are we doing, Jessie?
We're going on a walk.
And is it fun? Is it hot? Is there anything to see? Is it a Philstead walk?
Yeah.
There's a few things to see. But generally, lots of bush.
Okay, so we're at the end of this Campuhan trek, whatever it was. I don't know how to pronounce it. But we've got to the Karsa Kafe. Karsa Kafe, which is where the trek ends. What do we think of the trek?
It was hot, it was stuffy, it was long, and it was boring because you couldn't see anything.
Paddy?
It was kind of fun because I got to go in front of everyone.
Yeah, because you wanted to.
And the bad thing was, it was really boring and my dad made me do it.
The walk was okay, but it was quite hot and there wasn't much shade. And there was no viewing points. It said you could view the rice paddies over the whole thing. We didn't see one rice paddy till we exited off the cliff.
Is it a rice beef burger?
It was hot and uphill. It was not fun.
I got to agree with these damning sentiments. the trek was not as good as it sounded when you read about it. And when we bumped into a local down the bottom, he said, "Why are you going that way? There's a heaps better local track on the other side of the river. You should take that one." And he was right, and we should have, because we could see it, and it was heaps better, and it was in shade and had way better views. But we didn't do it because it took us to the wrong side of the river. And I regret that. We could have done that and then walked back down it and ended up better off. But anyway, we found this pretty awesome place. Check it out. So we did eventually find a rice paddy to sit over. And it's really cool and calm here, and we're going to have a drink. So there's that. And look, you know, we got to the end, and there's this cafe at the end. I think it's called Karsa Kafe, something like that. And that was really nice and tranquil, when it had like these little huts you could kind of sit on, kind of over water ponds filled with carp, and then looking over the rice paddies. And there was a nice breeze blowing over the top. And so we kind of got there and had some smoothies. I had a beer, and that was kind of this like really lovely just family time. You know, just the five of us just kind of sitting there talking, joking, smiling, relaxing, having fun. But then we worked out that we couldn't you couldn't walk from there back to the palace. It was just in Ubud there's like so many rivers and canyons, and the roads they're not connected to make things circular. You kind of got to go all the way back and then across a bridge and then all the way back. And then you couldn't get picked up by a grab, because that village has sole rights to transfers, so the grab wouldn't pick you up from there. So we ended up having to walk all the way back down this path that we didn't like the first time to get back to the bottom. And by this stage it was like 2:30 in the afternoon or something, so it was peak hot. And we just, you know, called it and came back to the hotel. And then went back in and saw the show, which was good. That was fun. Like, we had a nice dinner, and the kids got a couple of little bits and pieces. We looked at the markets, looked at the palace. The show was like different and overly long, and the kids kind of cracked it till about halfway through, but still I'm really glad that we did it, because it was just something different. The music was awesome and just so different, but the dancing was a bit samey. Like, it's a lot of the same stuff for a long time. Anyway, so I think it was a good day. It was a fine day, but we tried to take it easy, because we thought, okay, well, let's just not try and do so much in the heat of the day and see how that reacts on the kids. And we didn't quite get that right, but it was still a lot less. But then, you know, Paddy still struggled. He still really cracked it at the end. So, yeah, today we're going for a different approach altogether. I've got a private driver, which is costing us $70 for the day for 8 hours, and he's going to take us out to about 5 or so different things that are kind of like, you know, if we try to do it all with grabs, it would cost us more than $70. Plus he'd be waiting a long time. So I think it's a good deal. And we're going to go see a whole bunch of stuff, and then so it's going to be like, see something, get in an air-conditioned car, see something, get in an air-conditioned car. And then we're going for a swim in the middle of it. So it actually feels like a cooler day too. It's a bit overcast. Doesn't necessarily mean cooler, but just more breeze. Anyway, yeah, so we'll see how we go today. And I thought I shared a story in an earlier episode about you know, all the times we almost died when we did our first trip, and just twist of fate got away with it. So I thought I'd tell another one. So this one's in Belfast, and we were in Fez in Morocco on September 11, 2002. So it was the first year anniversary of the September 11 attacks, right? And I don't know, for those of you who were around at the time, you'll know that was like security, airport security, everything like that was still on max alert. And everyone thought, yeah, everyone was just like, it was like Y2K style hysteria, where everyone was like, there's going to be a copycat on September 11, 2002. So nobody flew, which for us as backpackers was awesome. So we would end up in Fez, and we ended up getting a plane from, I think it was Mallorca in Spain, to Belfast for like I don't know, like 10 pounds or something it worked out to each. And we were like almost the only people on the plane. And we went from Fez, Morocco. We got like a hired some bloke with a Merc who took us and me, Kate, and 3 random backpackers that we didn't know from a bar of soap that we bumped into 3 minutes before we found his cab. So 6 of us in a 5-seater, and he took us for 2 hours to Tangier at 1,000 kilometres an hour on the wrong side of the road. We got on the ferry, went across the ferry to Gibraltar or whatever it was, Malaga it was. So we went to Gibraltar, and then from there we went to Malaga, and then got on a plane that flew us on September 11 to Belfast, which was also, you know, I guess a terrorist hotspot for different reasons, obviously. And that whole entire trip, no one checked our passport once. No one ever looked at us sideways. When we came out of Morocco, they just looked at us and went, "Gringos, off you go." And I remember thinking, wow, this is like, you know, the first anniversary is September 11. I just remember thinking, oh, okay. You know, it depends where you are in the world, just how much they care, right? Anyway, that was way off tangent. But one of the things we did in Belfast was we wanted to walk down the 2 roads. So there's the 2 famous roads. There's Shankill Road, which is the Protestant road, and there's Falls Road, which is the Catholic road, right? And that's where a lot of the violence was, and during the really bad era. And it was still pretty bad in 2002. Like, it wasn't nowhere near as bad as it was, but there was still a lot of violence. And we wanted to walk down Shankill, then cut through the neighbourhoods, and then come back down Falls. That was our plan. And we walked down Shankill, it was fine, and there's like all these murals and like little reserves with like remembrances and stuff like that. And then we cut through, and I just remember thinking, wow, this place is hectic. Like, every single fence was just lined with like glass cemented into the top of every single fence, and the school had barbed wire all around it, and like there was these gated communities that had fences that were like just ridiculously high. And I asked someone, like, why are the fences so high? Like this like netting that you see at a golf course style stuff, way up beyond the giant walls, the gates. And they were like, oh, that's so you can't throw Molotov cocktails over the top. I was like, phew, okay. And then we got down to the bottom, or rocks, or whatever they were. Maybe it wasn't as drastic as I thought, but that's what I remember them saying. And so we got down to Falls, and we walked along Falls, and then we walked back, and we got to kind of to the end of these 2 streets. Like, it's not necessarily the end, but it's kind of where like the famous bit stops. And there was a pub on the corner, and we walked down, and we got to the pub, and we thought, oh, we'll stop and have a beer. And so we stopped, went into the pub and got a beer, and I think we were still ordering, and there was just this big commotion outside. I didn't hear anything, I just shouldn't have been this really big commotion. And we came out, and the people that had been walking behind us, they were like, I think they were locals, well, they were locals, but they were walking like maybe, I don't know, maybe 100 metres behind us, maybe not even that far, had just been killed in a drive-by. I don't know why, I don't know anything about it, other than that it happened. So that was kind of another time where a twist of fate, because I think if we'd just been, I don't know, if we just stopped to take one extra photo, or, you know, for whatever reason had just been slightly later, we might have been standing right in the middle of that. So it was very, very close call. And I tried looking it up on, like, because obviously back then there was no Google satellites or Google Street View or any of that stuff. But I tried looking it up just recently, actually. I was telling the story to someone, and I was like, oh, you know, I just can't visualise it. I just, you know, I didn't want to kind of forget the story. And so I looked it up, and I didn't really recognise it. I couldn't find, I think I found the pub. I think I saw the pub. It just didn't strike me as being, you know, how I remember it. But anyway, so that's, yeah, that was another time that we kind of dodged a bullet, literally, on that journey. I'll tell another one later. Thanks very much for watching.